But let's, of course, start with these developments from South Korea, where after 6 months of political turmoil, South Korea has a new president. Lee Jae-myung has now taken oath as South Korea's new president after 180 days of political drama followed by Yoon's failed martial law bid in December. The Liberal Democratic Party has dethroned the former president Yoon Suk-yeol's People's Power Party. Now, Lee Jae-myung, in fact, clinched a pretty decisive victory over his rival candidate Kim Moon-so. With all the ballots counted, Lee won 49.42% of the nearly 35 million votes, while the conservative rival Kim Moon-so managed to take about 41.15% of the votes. And before inauguration, Lee Jae-myung, in fact, went to the National Cemetery in Seoul, where he paid tribute to the National Cemetery with the First Lady Kim Hae-kyung. And then the first couple headed to the venue of the inauguration, where Lee Jae-myung was officially sworn in as the president of South Korea. In the first few hours of his presidency, Kim, in fact, made some appointments to key positions and said that South Korea is embarking on a new beginning for a government by the people.
Together with individuals who possess loyalty and responsibility toward the people, as well as competence, we are embarking on a new beginning for a government by the people.
Now, South Korea's President Lee Jae-myung has named a series of close allies to top government positions. And leading the list is the Democrat Party's lawmaker Kim Myung-suk, a longtime confidant and a former campaign aide nominated as the Prime Minister. The former Unification Minister Lee Jong-seok has been tapped in to head the National Intelligence Service. And the three-term lawmaker Kang Hoon-sik, and also a key campaign figure, has been asked to serve as the Chief of Staff, and V Song-lak, a seasoned diplomat turned lawmaker, will take over as the National Lee's security advisor. The Lee has a series of international and domestic challenges before him, ranging from healing a country that is deeply scarred by the martial law attempt to tackling an unpredictable tariff onslaught by South Korea's closest ally, which is the United States of America, and also dealing with the hostile neighbor North and striking a balance between the diplomatic ties between the United States and China. The American Secretary of State Marco Rubio congratulated the new president and voiced hope for working with a left-leaning leader. He said that the two countries share an ironclad commitment to the alliance that is grounded in their mutual defense treaty, shared values and economic ties. China's President Xi Jinping also congratulated South Korea's newly elected head of state. Spokesperson of China's foreign ministry stressed that relations between the two nations are not targeted at any third party.
Access to raw material and industrial capacity that is
China believes that the development of China-South Korea relations is fundamentally driven by shared interests. These relations are not targeted at any third party and should not be influenced by external factors. China consistently opposes taking sides and block confrontation.
So as the dust of political uncertainty settles in South Korea, we spoke earlier with Dr. Robert Edwin Kennedy, who is a professor of political science at the Busan National University in Busan, on what's next for the newly elected president. Listen in to what he had to say.
The election was actually really captured by these big foundational questions of sort of democracy and constitutional government, because the impeachment, of course, had provoked these things, right? The impeachment was driven by a suspension of the Constitution for martial law, which is something that, I mean, you just can't do that in a modern democracy, right? I mean, if that happened in India, you'd have 1 million people in the streets. And that's what happened here, right? And so a lot of the election was about sort of, do you believe in South Korean democracy or not? That was the primary pitch from the South Korean left. But there, I mean, there are a lot of other sort of day-to-day regular issues, you know, the economy and unemployment and those kinds of things. I would say that South Korea's fundamentals on those things are actually pretty good. I think the big issue probably that unites everybody right now is what you mentioned before, which is the tariff war. The South Korean response to Trump's tariffs and threats and so on has been very hit or miss and very erratic. And so now that you have a new president, I would imagine that this is one of the things that he will work on pretty quick. I bet there will probably be a trip to Washington sometime in the next 6 months, and there will be a major full court press to nail down this